All right, 49ers locker room update ahead of this matchup against the Chiefs. Several interviews from the room. Here you go.
Oh, yeah. They sent me this right after the game. Right after they, put the whipping on them. Go Ducks.
Do you wish you would have made a bet with Nick?
He was scared. I had called him before the game, and he was going to act like he didn't know what I was talking about. I don't even think he followed college football, though. Because he was like, what? Oh, they play? What time? And I was like, oh, man.
He might not have said that had they won.
Yeah, if they won, yeah, he would have been giving me hell.
Coming into this one, it's not a Super Bowl necessarily rematch, or a Super Bowl, but it is a big game. Have you done anything different this week outside of practice, like when you're on your own, to kind of dial in a little bit deeper to this one, or is it the same as every game?
I treat this one just the same as every game. We are obviously playing a good opponent. Better than that we've been playing. Very familiar with this team, so we just treat it like another game. Obviously we want to go in and win and dominate, but we just treat it like another game.
We know the challenges that quarterback presents for everybody. As you said, you've seen him plenty now.
Yeah.
When you think of him personally, what kind of challenge does he present for you?
He's a big challenge. He's one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. At 27, 28. I got so much respect for him. Just how much he accomplished in this league. At a young age. He's doing great.
It's been said that when he breaks contain, if you're a DB back there, don't watch him. Watch what's in front of you.
Oh yeah, for sure. He got a whole show. He's very talented. I would give him that. The stuff he do, I ain't seen it done by nobody else. So much respect to him.
How does familiarity help when you talk about familiarity? How does that work in your favor?
Just kind of like adjustments. You're able to adjust off of, what you did last time, what you can do better, and how to play them.
You might want to say it's just another game. You're obviously human. Is that easier said than done when you go out there and see the Chiefs uniforms and see those guys?
I'm gonna play the best of my ability. I know what's at stake for this game. I know what it can do to this team and to this locker room. Come out with a dub.
You were kind of on an ascent in the Super Bowl, but do you feel like your play has gotten even better now heading into this game?
Oh yeah, for sure. I definitely tightened up in areas. I would say, just looking at my 2023 off-season study, I definitely got better. Just approaching this year.
Xavier is one of the fastest guys around the league. So are you excited just to test it yourself against him, see what he's got?
Oh yeah, I'm always up for the challenge. You put anybody in front of me, it could be my grandma right there. She can get the same work. Same gloves. She probably is. I know.
You asked Brock Purdy via Instagram story if you could get a jet sweep. How much would you be itching to play on offenses too?
I'm glad you asked that one. Kyle, just go watch the highlight tape. Go watch my high school highlight tape. I was one of the ones. As far as with the ball in my hand, I feel like I can do some things. I just feel like it's a lot of stuff that people don't know about me.
Kind of good that much football.
Oh yeah. And that was that was what, 21-4. Imagine if I get a jet sweep where I actually know where I'm going, I actually know I'm gonna get the ball, and I'll probably crack 22s.
Has Kyle shut it down yet?
Nah, I ain't talked to him. I'm too scared. I'm scared to ask him.
So you're trying to get Brock to ask him?
Yeah, I gotta swindle in Brock, maybe give him a couple hundred.
That's Deion Sanders material is what you're talking about.
Oh yeah. I feel like we got the same type of swag out there.
Okay, thanks, Demo.
All right, man.
Appreciate it.
We can beat them by 100. We're not popping champagne. Confetti's not going to fall. So it can never be an even or a payback situation. So why even carry that grudge? Football is 90% mental, 10% physical. So if your mind is clouded with stuff that has nothing to do with Sunday, then you could run the risk of not being everything you want to be.
Is that something you feel like you've had to talk to people about? Everybody kind of.
No, I haven't talked to anybody about it.
Is this still one of those you can't get too high, can't get too low type of games, or are you guys a little bit, or you yourself, a little bit more dialed in going into this one knowing what's on the table?
Well, I'm dialed in because we 3-3, and I think everybody in here kind of feels like we've underachieved at times. So we're dialed in because we want to right that wrong. Obviously we're playing the best team in the league too, so that is a added point of pressure. But the only way you can win this game is by playing smart football and protecting the ball, not shooting yourself in the foot. That's what we got to focus on. I don't think we can focus on the whole payback, revenge type of thing.
Trent, there have been signs that your rookie class is, they've already contributed some, but that they're ready to keep giving more. What have you noticed about that group, maybe in terms of the confidence level, or maybe the way even they feed off of each other and learn from veterans like yourself?
Yeah, I think you probably got to ask them how much they learn, but from my observation, it's been a really, really productive rookie class, probably the most productive I've been around in my career, just because it's from so many people in so many different positions, not just one guy. And then we're getting Ricky back hopefully this Sunday, so that should add to it. But yeah, I think the front office did an amazing job with this draft. They brought in a lot of key guys that's ready to contribute right away, and that's hard to find.
I mean, the realities of the salary cap when you got a lot of highly paid players on this team. How important is it to have, not just for the near term but the long term, to have young guys like that contributing at that level?
Well, it's always important to hit on your draft picks. That's the only way you kind of keep the locker room improving. Trimming the fat. So. It's always important to hit on the draft picks, and they've hit on them. Even though we do have a lot of high-earning players, the draft picks are really the lifeblood of the team, year in and year out. So it's extremely important. But as far as salary cap, you know how that goes.
Spags loves to blitz. What sort of challenges does he present, and how unpredictable is his defense?
Yeah, he definitely mixes it up. He definitely has he loves to go to zero, especially at big times of the game. Gotta have his situations, 3rd and long, 4th and long. You can expect him to heat you up. He do a lot of blitzes away from 95 because he understands that most game plans are to put 2 people on him. So, it kind of leaves you short-handed on the backside. So, he mixes it up. He's one of the best defensive coaches in the NFL. Obviously, his track record speaks for itself. We all know who Coach Reed is, and his track record speaks for itself. So, I had a great coach staff, very well coached team. Gotta do it.
Just make sure that we're going in the right direction.
That is pretty fair, huh? Because you have a couple of games that you have to feel like you probably should have won, but that's behind you. You can't be dwelling on that at this point.
Exactly. It's a long season, and we just got to focus on the next week and the next opponent.
A lot of people are going to point to this game. We know what kind of a rematch it is and all that, but you guys can't really be thinking about that, or can you be thinking about that?
No, I mean, last year's last year, this year's this year, and we just got to focus on this team and what we can do on Sunday to win the game. That's it.
I think as long as you've been here, whenever this team has what you would call kind of a test, and you guys had one last Thursday, you couldn't afford to go 0-3 against division opponents, and you guys played a good game. What do you think it is about this team that just seems to regroup and have character when you have to play one of those kinds of games?
I think we do a really good job of just relying on our technique and relying on our fundamentals. I know we always have a good game plan from the coaching staff, and I just feel like we just got to go out there and execute, and we're going to win the game.
What would you like to see offensively to just kind of evolve and continue to get better?
I think we've really had a pretty consistent play through a lot of guys, but everyone has just that one play they want back, or 2 plays they want back. So if we just get rid of those 1 or 2 plays each player, I think we're going to have a really successful day.
This really isn't like a Super Bowl or a Super Bowl necessarily rematch. However, it is a big game. So, how are you kind of trying to focus this week? Have you done anything different this week in your personal time to kind of make sure that you're dialed in for this one?
No, I don't think anything's really different. At least I approach every single game the same way. Even the Super Bowl last year, I approached it the same way. You don't want to get too nervous or too hyped up for any opponent, because it really does come down to what we do and how we play, and we just got to focus on what we can control.
Easier said than done?
No.
The Chiefs dialed up the blitzes big time last year in the Super Bowl. I think 52% of the time. Is there anything that Spagnuolo does from a blitz perspective that is especially challenging for you, calling out the protections at center?
I mean, just looking at the scouting report, it looks like he brings a lot of zero in the red zone, a lot of zero when you're coming out. We just got to be ready for those looks and make sure that we have the outlets that we need for the coach or for the quarterback, and also in like the run game, just make sure that we can get a body on a body.
Thanks, man.
Thanks.
Well, it's fun because I got to watch Dallas Clark. I watched like every game he ever played in while he was at Iowa, or at least was tight end. We had season tickets, so I got to see his career. And he kind of made the tight end position really excited me when I was a kid. And then watching him play for the Colts and play all those games with no gloves on, just tape fingers, and really become like Peyton Manning's like outlet when Reggie Wayne and Marvin Harrison were open. And that was always really special to see. And so for him to get that recognition is awesome because he was a hell of a football player, won a Super Bowl with them, and just played at an elite level for a really long time. So very happy for him because hell of a guy, and that's an honor that's very, very much deserved.
Do you still have the autographed football that I gave you
Yes,
a couple of years
it's in my man cave. Yep, you're there, Vern. I look at it every day. I'm like, yeah, there's Vern. It sits up here, though. Sits up there. I couldn't help myself. That's horrible. I'm sorry.
Dallas will be proud.
He would be. He would be. Thanks, Vern. Those are good media questions.
George Trent said
Yes.
that. Trent said that.
Which Trent?
Williams.
Yeah, Big Trent.
I understand that was confusing there. Big Trent had mentioned that if you win on Sunday, it's obviously not payback for the Super Bowl. But does it feel like a little bit extra?
I don't know. Like, you want to like keep every game, focus on one game at a time, that type of stuff. And I think Coach Shanahan, he had a really good team meeting the other day. It's like, you can't live in the past. You can't look into the future. You have to like just live for the moment that what you're in now. And this is a different game. It's a lot of similar players, but technically a different team. And we're a different team a little bit too. So I'll just say, like, winning at home against anybody, let alone one of the last undefeated teams in football, that'll feel great.
Coach, you mentioned last week that you're getting more teams kind of playing more like a bend but don't break type of style.
Sure.
A lot of man coverage or things like that. But when you see the Chiefs, they played a lot of man against you guys in the Super Bowl.
Yes.
They do a lot of pressing, those kinds of things. Do you feel like teams are maybe following a little bit of a blueprint? And you're still productive, but maybe making it...
You still in a quote from Bosa? Blueprint, remember that with the Eagles?
Yeah.
You remember better than I.
All right, sorry, finish your question.
No, do you get the sense that teams maybe see that and say, hey, like, yeah, we're going to allow some yards, but we're going to make them earn every single touchdown point that they get?
The NFL is a complete copycat league, like 100%. When you find something that works, like against a certain team, like coaches are finding stuff. Like, we've added stuff to our run game plan against certain teams because, like, hey, maybe, for example, like the Detroit Lions, one way that they do their motion, hey, this works really well against this team. We're going to try it out, see if it works. And, oh, shoot, it works. Like, that's just kind of the whole NFL as a whole. And when you have, like the Chiefs, they had success against us, with man coverage and stuff. They did a really good job with that on us. And so Chiefs are like, hey, we're going to try it too until you can beat us. And when you can do that, you can rush 5, you just play with some lurk and stuff. Like, you put a lot of pressure on the quarterback and the receiving core to get open and stuff. And so I think some teams have done it. Like, not every team can do it because they don't have the guys to do it. But yeah, I mean, I've definitely seen more man coverage. But I think there's been years that we saw a ton of man coverage, and then 1 week we didn't see man coverage again because like one guy beat them on an 80-yard touchdown or something like that. It's just like it gets them out of it quick. Now I don't think the Chiefs will ever get out of man coverage because they live in like the 1B and pressure stuff. So, which is fun, and that's just a challenge for all of us to get open.
What is the challenge? A team that is that press and man heavy?
They just pressure a lot. So like everything's got to be fast, got to be really on your routes. Brock's got to be really on time with all of his stuff, and got to really hold up in protection because, you got to be you got to really help out on Chris Jones because of how dominant he is as a player, and then it gives a lot of one-on-ones to everybody else, and so it's really like you have to beat the man in front of you in the timing of the play, otherwise it's going to be a loss or a tip or some type of interception.
How difficult is it to diagnose what they're bringing pressure-wise? I know they did a ton of it. I know you played a team like Minnesota who also blitzed a lot. But does this?
They're
compare?
a little different, but yeah.
Okay.
No, Minnesota's they're wild. No, but you can't you're not going to obviously see it every single time. But I mean, the Chiefs do. They play situational football, so like their coverage has changed. Like they'll play something in the first half on third down, the second half they'll play something different, and then you get to like pressure downs. Like fourth quarter, they play different stuff as well. So it's like their defense coordinator does a fantastic job. He switches stuff up all the time, so you can't just be hey, we know we're going to get 11 lurk, and we know this guy's going to lurk. They switch it up like almost every single time, like constantly throughout the game too. So I think that's one reason they've had the success. And also, like, when you look at the Chiefs defense, what it is this year as it was last year and the year before is they're significantly better. Like, those guys have played together a lot of games. They're more on it. They're more on their coverages. You can see like how they play with each other. So this is definitely the best defense I think we faced all year.
George, Kyle.
Hey, Pete. Couldn't see you back there, man. You should get a box. Sorry.
Yeah, all good. I get, Kyle saying, you got to be in the moment. It's not about the past or the future. But, you personally, every time you played the Chiefs, it's been kind of not a good experience.
It's fair.
I mean, we're human, so how hard is it to kind of say, oh, hey, I don't really see that uniform, I don't really see these guys, or this is just another opponent?
I do a pretty good job of flushing stuff, and flushing Super Bowl losses, not the easiest thing to do. Like, it's a goal that you always want to achieve. But if you let stuff linger and you let stuff affect you like that, you can't be the player that you want to be. And so I just try my best to tune out whatever noise is being said on the outside, and specifically this week, because people ask, hey, I've been asked to go on a couple different talk shows, and there's only one reason they want to ask me to be on these talk shows, because it's like we're playing the Chiefs this week, and so it's just like, it's fine. But they're the best team in the league right now with the Vikings, and we just have to treat them like they're the best team in the league right now, and just go out there and play our ball. And I don't think it's that hard to just focus them in as a team. Like, we know what they're going to give us. We played them a lot of times. We've never beaten them, but the thing is, it's a new year and we have another opportunity.
Your red zone touchdowns have gone up over your career.
That's cool.
Each year they get better.
Thank you. Good job, Brock.
Well, maybe that's the answer, but what has changed? I mean, how have you gotten better in that area? Some of these catches are really terrific catches in tight spaces. How do you improve in that?
It's a combination of just continually earning trust with Purdy and just getting reps with him. And the more practices that we get together, the more he's going to trust us in just certain situations. Say, screw it, I'm going to throw it up. Like the Patriots ball was 100% supposed to go to Debo, but he wanted to give a shot and throw it up to me. It's a combination of that and just getting your number called in the red zone. Like, that's a big part of it too. We game plan for everybody. Like, every time there's multiple plays for Debo that he's the number one read. There's plays for Ayuk, Juwan, myself, and not every single time they get called. And so while they might be up and you might practice some, they don't get called. And I've just been fortunate that the plays that I've been schemed up on have been called.
Have you noticed though that over the years you get more and more, calls schemed up for you?
Yes and no. I try not to think about it, because if you think about not getting schemed up, it upsets you. I don't want to get mad at Kyle.
George, what's the key to beating this team? You guys haven't beaten this team, and I know it probably gnaws at you guys. What's going to get you guys over the top?
My two keys to victory are 100% my opinion and nothing else that anyone else has said. I think every time we've played the Chiefs, we've had multiple turnovers on offense, and you just can't turn out the ball over against a team that has Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce on the other side, because they can really score at will. Their offense is very complicated, hard to game plan. So between not turning the ball over and then I would just love to run the ball 30 times. Like, those are my two things. Stay on the field, dominate the time of possession, and don't turn the ball over.